Iran is the world's record holder for executions. The Islamic Republic is one of the few countries in the world that retains the death penalty in its laws. While the execution rate is declining in other countries that still have the death penalty, this figure continues to rise annually in Iran. In 2023 alone, at least 850 people were executed in Iranian prisons, of which 21 were women. Iran carries out more recorded executions of women than any other country. The execution of women in Iran is completely hidden from public view due to media censorship and the silence of state media. And these individuals are sentenced to death or life imprisonment under illegal and unjust conditions. Under the laws of the Islamic Republic of Iran, crimes such as drug offenses, murder, armed robbery, rape, and muharabah, interpreted as fighting against the regime, are punishable by death. At least 223 executions this year, with at least 50 so far in May 2024. A new surge began following the end of the Persian New Year and Ramadan holidays in April, with 115 people, including 6 women, hanged since then. Iran carries out more recorded executions of women than any other country. Many such convicts are victims of forced or abusive marriages. Iran last year carried out more hangings than in any year since 2015, according to non-governmental organizations, which accuse the Islamic Republic of using capital punishment to instill fear in the wake of protests that erupted in autumn 2022. According to information obtained by Iran Human Rights, at least 5 men and a woman were executed in Urmia Central Prison in the early hours of May 10, 2024. Their identities have been established as 53-year-old Parvin Mousavi from Maragay, 29-year-old Ramin Lavandi from Urmia, 45-year-old Mansur Nasseri from Buchan, 30-year-old Yusuf Saidi Chera from Urmia, Parvin Mousavi from Urmia, and a Tabriz native, only identified as Mr. Jabali. They were all sentenced to death for drug-related charges by the revolutionary courts. Parvin Mousavi, Ramin Lavandi, Yusuf Saidi Chera and Parvin Mousavi were on death row for 4 years, Mr. Jabali for 5 years, and Mansur Nasseri for 6 years. Iran is the biggest executioner of women. In 2023, at least 22 women were executed for drug-related, murder and security-related charges in Iran. Parvin Mousavi is 9th woman to be executed in 2024. Drug-related executions have continuously risen every year since 2021. At least 471 people were executed for drug-related charges, an 84% increase compared to 2022, 256, and about 18 times the average of drug-related executions in 2018 to 2020. On the 10th of April 2024, 80-plus Iranian and international organizations and groups called for joint action to stop drug-related executions, urging UNODC to make any cooperation with the Islamic Republic contingent on a complete halt on drug-related executions. The execution of Parvin Mousavi, a 53-year-old prisoner from Maragay, was carried out in Urmia Central Prison despite her suffering from cancer and enduring fatal cancerous wounds. Parvin Mousavi, a mother of 2 grown-up children, was hanged in Urmia Prison in northwestern Iran along with 5 men convicted in various drug-related cases. Simultaneously, as the core of Parvin Mousavi and the other executed prisoners were handed over, a group of people gathered in front of Urmia Central Prison. Mousavi had been in prison for 4 years. It cited a source as saying she had been paid the equivalent of €15 to carry a package that she had been told contained medicine but was in fact 5 kilograms of morphine. They are the low-cost victims of the Islamic Republic's killing machine, which aims at instilling fear among people to prevent new protests. Ms. Mousavi, a mother of two, had previously been transferred to solitary confinement for the execution of her sentence, but was later returned to the women's ward of Urmia Central Prison. With the increase in executions, the execution of women has also accelerated. On the same day, a female prisoner named Fatima Abdullah was executed in Nishapur prison. Individual or collective killings and mass intimidation have been one side of the policy of eliminating others in Iran. The flip side is depriving large sections of society of their fundamental rights in every arbitrary, violent, and cruel manner. Among the harmful effects of removing others is the fragmentation of society and the spread of animosity among various social groups. The hope of freedom was extinguished by retribution and vengeance in a cold February avalanche revolution of 1979. Today, based on bitter experiences of history, Iran found that prison, torture and killing are deviations from democracy, freedom and justice. That the foundation of injustice rides on hiding reality and depriving people of the right to know. The people who remember are less likely to be victims of ignorance and oppression, or agents of oppression against each other, and do not accept the rule of violence and discrimination. Hiding the truth for any excuse, even under the pretext of national reconciliation or establishing peace and democracy, amounts to erasing memories and burning history, which results in repeating the past. Without complete knowledge of the tragedy, seeking justice would not be possible. In Iran, the progressive and egalitarian women, life, freedom movement has emerged, whose foundations are to seek and realize truth and justice. Iran must use the knowledge and findings from their history to advance this movement. The survivors of more than 4 decades of violence, killings and ruin, whose loved ones have been executed, murdered and tortured by the state, are the people who have tried to advance justice to the best of our ability, while insisting on truth and justice, must courageously and explicitly demand unquestioning compliance with human rights and dignity for everyone, an end to torture and executions, even for the perpetrators and brokers of massacres. Iran hanged at least 834 people in 2023. The second highest number of executions in 2 decades, however. While 9 executions were directly linked to attacks on security forces during the 2022 protests, the use of capital punishment was also stepped up in relation to other charges. Drug-related cases accounted for more than half of the total, with 471 people executed on such charges. The report also notes that members of ethnic minorities, notably the Sunni Baloch from the southeast of Iran, were grossly overrepresented amongst those executed. At least 167 members of the Baloch minority were put to death, accounting for 20% of the total last year. The minority accounts for about 5% of Iran's population. The inconsistency in the international community's reaction to the executions in Iran is unfortunate and sends the wrong signal to the authorities. While most executions happen within the confines of prison, sometimes they were carried out in public. At least 22 women were executed last year, marking the highest number in the past decade. 15 were hanged on murder charges. NGOs have long warned that women who kill an abusive partner or relative risk execution. Thank you for watching Death Row.